Hey everyone, welcome back to Microsoft Dev Radio, where we're bringing you cloud solution architects from around Microsoft who are doing really cool, really interesting things. Today I have Peter and Gino with me. They have been working on a project, What the Hack, that I personally am very interested in, and I'm really excited to hear from both of them about what they're doing with What the Hack and how you can contribute and how you can get involved. So, Peter and Gino, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time. I love to hear all about this. I'm all ears. I'm gonna be quiet for a little while because I'm really excited.
Awesome, Sydney. Thank you a lot. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for
Just to
having me.
start just to start real quick, and we'll dive right into this, and talk about a little bit what the hack and where it came from. So, what the hack is a series, a repository of challenge-based workshops or hacks, if you will. By challenge-based, meaning that these are not hands-on labs, and they are meant to be hosted both in person or virtually, versus on Microsoft Teams. The origin where Peter and I kind of came up with this idea is that we were on a one of our customers that we're on together, and the customer asked us for a special multi-day session, technical deep dive session, but they specifically asked us, hey, we don't want this to be your standard hands-on lab. So we kind of came up with this format that's more challenge-based.
When you think about like hands-on labs, and I'm sure everyone's done one before, you go in and they're great. Hands-on labs serve their purpose, right? You go in there and you get a 20-page Word doc with 100 steps saying, here, click on this, click on that, copy and paste this little code snippet here, run this command. And, if you go through it all blindly, you'll accomplish whatever it is the hands-on lab's trying to get you to do. You probably won't remember anything because it'll go in one ear and out the other, right? Because it's just, you're just doing what it tells you. And so what we found is that when we did this more as a challenge-based format, that the knowledge retention was greater. And the concept here is that you don't give people step-by-step instructions. You give them a goal. I want you to accomplish X, like stand up a server to make sure it is configured in this manner. But we're not telling you how to do it. You got to go figure that out. And that's where it makes things get really interesting.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's the reason this was great to do with that customer. But since then, we ran a few closely afterwards, some internal events, and starting with that original hack, we had built up a little collection of 4 or 5 of these, and we decided, hey, we need to share these out. We need to make a repository, put them in there, and make them available to anyone who wants to run these things. And we'll get back to that soon. But in terms of the format, it's pretty simple, right? We have attendees, the hacks, working in squads of 3 to 5 people. So they're working together. They're working to solve a series of technical challenges, as we said. Now, a challenge is nothing more than a set of acceptance criteria. So basically, it's saying we want to see this, go off and do it, and with a minimal amount of direction there. So you're meant to really hunt and peck and try to find these answers, right? So we're just describing high-level tasks and goals there. In addition to that, there are coaches available as well, right? So the coaches work with each squad and they're providing guidance. They're not providing answers. We kind of tell our coaches, you don't want to be unhelpful to people, but try not to be too helpful, right? Answer questions with more questions and have people think and go and how to, solve these things on their own.
Really,
And then we also...
I was going to say one thing. So when you're a coach, you're really acting as a technical advisor. It's like you're a subject matter expert who's a consultant to a group of developers who are actually trying to learn how to do something. So it's almost like the coach acts in a consultant type role as they're interacting with the students.
Right, exactly. So as we said, we had a collection of these, and they're in our GitHub repository, and over time they grew. And now we're covering all sorts of different material, and over time it kind of came out into like 2 different types of hacks that have come out of this.
Yeah, if you look at the collection of hacks, we kind of almost went with an analogy to the Marvel comic universe, right? So there's the origin story movies where it's focused on one superhero and what they're there to do, and then there's like the Avenger style where it's all the superheroes come together to solve some big baddie and knock them off. So with the hacks, it's sort of the same thing. We've got some hacks that are more like a singleton hack, where they're focused around one technology, what it's used for, and going really deep in that technology. And then we have other hacks that are more solution oriented, where you need to string together multiple technologies in order to solve the business problem or solve the challenge at hand. And both hacks, both styles work really well. We find folks like both types.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of hosting these, so like we were saying, we've done a few of these up front in person, but given the advent of Teams, and we really wanted to be pioneers in delivering these things virtually, and not so much that we saw the COVID thing coming or anything like that, but we did enable this. We wanted What the Hacks to be able to be delivered virtually, mainly because despite Microsoft being $1 billion company, our bosses don't seem to buy us tickets every week to just fly out to any random customer that we want to deliver these things.
That's funny, because folks usually say, well, you're at Microsoft, you're $1 trillion company. Why can't you do that? And it doesn't work that way. Budgets don't trickle down to regular architects like us. But so we did it virtually, and in addition to doing some of them in person. And one of the things I like about it, I actually prefer doing these things virtually, because I'm in my home office here, which you can't see because it looks like I'm at the beach. But I've got a triple monitor set up over here. I've got 3 monitors, where one, I can be screen sharing with my teammates as we're trying to solve. On the other screen, I might have the browser window open, and I'm researching what to do, what the next step is. And as a coach, if I'm coaching these things for my students who are remote, same thing. I can be monitoring the screen share. I can have the chat window going in another screen. It's just more comfortable. Whereas if we're in person, and even as you're a student in person, you're typically huddled over one smaller laptop screen, at a table with 4 or 5 other people. So I find it's more comfortable, and I prefer learning that way. But the dynamic is, for folks who haven't done it before virtually, it is something you have to get used to the first time you go through it. To figure out how to do things. And the way we use Teams, it keeps it pretty consistent. The way we use Teams, whether you're in person or virtually, it's the same thing. I know, Gina, do you have any other things to add on that part?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. You're always, more comfortable at home. But the thing is, and I've always been a big proponent of this, even, in prior companies, of how important it is. Mics on, cameras on, everyone stays accountable. Everyone kind of feels like they're there in the same room. So that's one of the things we try to mandate pretty strongly with both internal and external audiences.
Yeah. I was going to show up a quick demo and just show what the experience kind of looks like going through it. Does that sound cool?
I was going to say, this is my favorite part. I love demos. All
right. Well, let's see if we got the screen share going. I assume everyone can see by now what's going on here. So this is the repo. It's on GitHub. It's just a GitHub repo, and it's Microsoft What the Hack. We actually have a short link, so if you're familiar with the Microsoft URL shortener, it's aka.ms/WTH, and we'll bring it up. And as you can see, we've got over 20 different hacks that have been contributed to this repo by folks, mostly our peers in Microsoft, but one of the cool things about What the Hack is that it's open, that anyone can contribute to this repo. So if you've gone through one of these hacks and you think you have a way of improving it, we love pull requests. Or if you want to create a new hack, we put together some really good guidance on how to do that. In our top level folder here, which is the 000 How to Hack folder, we've got all sorts of markdown templates that let you scaffold out what a new hack structure would look like in here. But let me just dive into one as a sample, right? So if I click on this first one, which is Intro to Kubernetes, you'll see that most of the hacks, they're going to start with 2 top-level folders, a coach folder and a student folder. And the student folder has all of the content the students need to see to complete the activity. So if there's any resources they need, like code snippets or templates or things you want to get them started with, you could seed them in the student folder. In the coach folder, we have all the answers, right? It's the coach's guide, so a coach knows how to run this event. If there's any things that have to be set up, it tells them all the pitfalls the attendees might go down and prepares them so they can help coach them effectively. And then, as you go through it, you'll see there's a list of challenges. You can click into them and go through them. The gist of the challenges is that they are short, usually no more than a few bullets, because you're really just giving person a goal of what to accomplish to go through it. But one of the things we quickly found when we set this up is that how do you share the content with the students without giving them access to the answers? And so that's one neat little thing we did solve using Teams, is that we really try not to advertise the repo to the students in advance of the event. We'll give them the repo after the event because we want them to go share the content with their peers, or maybe even redeliver it to the other folks who might be interested in it. But the way this works in Teams is that we will create a team for the event. So here you see I've got this team called WTH Intro to Kubernetes, and you'll see I've got a general channel, and then I've got some other channels down here on the side. And what we'll do is we'll bring everyone together into a general channel. We kick off a meeting. Maybe we'll do a little presentation to go through the logistics and help the attendees out. But then eventually they're going to split off into these break-off channels with their squads of 3 to 5 people and go to work and do the screen share. But going back to how do we obscure the content? Well, we actually created a student version of the website that will basically take the content in GitHub and render it into a nice web page here, which you can see here with our logo on it. And we pin it as a tab in the team. And now you can go right through it for that same Kubernetes hack and go right into your challenges right here, click in, start navigating, and go to work and do the things you need to do. So it keeps it obscure so they don't have to go see the answers. And we find this works pretty well, where basically we break the attendees out into separate channels and they all start party line calls with their coaches, and they start screen sharing and working together to try to solve the problems there. I know, Gina, do you want anything else you think we should point out on top of this?
No, except that coaches kind of float between these teams, especially if you have a lead coach, that sort of thing. It's pretty flexible, and you can see coaches have a private channel there as well, just to talk amongst themselves for anything. It's pretty flexible. We've found that it works very effectively with people, and now it's the only choice we have to run. So
yeah,
that's great. Peter.
So I'll say I stopped the screen share, but maybe just talk about I said we take content from anyone. We like people to put content in, but
yeah, I can talk about
how do you run these things?
Yeah. So talking about running one of these, I think, Peter, you pretty much covered it, right? Because you're talking about, and we provide all of this guidance here. So as Peter showed you, we had that how to hack folder in there, and there's links to it, right? And the two most important links are how to host a hack and how to author one. And I'll really quickly take you through both of them because we love it when people do both. So, when it comes to the event itself, there's a few requirements to think about, and then some preparation, and then what do you do on the day. So going through teams and everything we just showed you, there's more detail, but that's pretty much what you're doing on the day, is organizing people to get into the team. If you're, figure out which team's tenant you want to be on. So the majority of the people that's going to be there, if they're internal or external, whatever company it is, try to be on their tenant. We also provide some templates for like a calendar invite to send out to people, just to get them to register and get a calendar invite on their in their Outlook as well. And then all of these expect to bring your own subscription, that sort of thing. Again, this is all done on a shoestring budget, right? So we do not have any fancy demo environments and that can be spun up and spun down, right? This is meant to be very much a bootstrap kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when
I was going to say, even again, going back to the whole, we're a big company and they can't pay to fly Gino and I around, or even our peers. It is a bring your own subscription model. So if you don't have an Azure subscription, you can always fire up a trial one. But usually most companies that we work with, they do usually provide a subscription of some sort to their attendees. But it is something, if you're going to host your own event in your organization, you'd want to make sure you get that stuff set up ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when it comes to contributing a new hack, that's something that we've made very easy as well. We provided a lot of guidance because we want to encourage this behavior as much as possible. We want everyone that's listening right now as well, if you've got ideas for anything like this, to encourage you to contribute. right? I mean, obviously you can get in contact with us, but it's just like any other open source project on GitHub. You fork our repository, do your work in there, and then submit a pull request, right? It's very, very simple. So, like I said, we welcome all new hacks. We know there's some that might be similar, but with a scenario that's different, we're fine with that. We want the more the merrier for us. And when it comes to the process of authoring, Peter took you through that directory structure and how everything is. That's all kind of written down prescriptively for you in the how to author a hack document. So we provide, this is the directory format. We give some sample markdown files that can be used. So each of the challenges themselves have their own markdown file with certain sections. And then the coach's guide as well has its own markdown template. So we try to make it as easy as possible to author one of these and submit it back.
Well, I was going to say, Peter, Gino, this sounds like really easy to contribute to. As somebody who's I do a lot of contributions on GitHub myself. It sounds like you smoothed out the process, which is not always smooth with every repo. We want to let everybody know we do have the GitHub repo link in the description box. Peter and Gino, any other thoughts you wanted to share, as we start to wrap things up?
Yeah, I think one of the things, we really want to emphasize that we put the content all out there freely, right? So anyone can contribute, anyone can host. So if you want to host one of these in your organization, read through the repo, read the coach's guide, get yourself familiar with the content, maybe find a partner or two. One thing we didn't really call out, usually when we host these things, we have like a 1-to-5 ratio. So 1 coach to 5 students. So if, you got a group of folks in your company, get another person to help you out. Usually it's good to have at least 2 people being a coach to run the event, handle the logistics, especially virtually when you have to monitor chat windows and stuff like that. And, you're empowered to do it. You can just take the content and go. The other thing is folks like Gino and myself. So we're cloud solution architects at Microsoft. And I don't know if we formally introduced ourselves as that, but we work with our customers all the time to learn how to do Azure, to kind of upskill themselves around some of the different cloud technologies. Depending on what company you're at, you might already have a relationship with Microsoft. Maybe you have an account exec, or you've got a technical architect like us that's involved with your customer, within your company, within your organization. Ask them. Just say, hey, have you heard of What the Hack? Can you get someone at Microsoft to come help us run this? And hopefully they'll reach out and find Gino and I on the back end, and we'll connect them with resources that can hopefully deliver one for you too, if you don't want to do it on your own.
Well, the cool thing about this program is it sounds like even whether you want to do it on your own or not, it sounds really easy to set up, get going, and then get a group of experts together at your company and deliver a hackathon. I'm really excited to see all this out there, and now I feel a lot of internal pressure to put together a Azure container. What the heck? So people won't judge me on the internet, but yeah, Peter, Gino, thank y'all so much for coming in and sharing this with us. I really love seeing open source projects. Love seeing more GitHub on this channel. So, again, thanks for all of your time.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and to everybody else out there on YouTube, just reminder, we continue to bring you cloud solution architects who are doing really amazing things, talking about really cool projects. Again, stuff that's really exciting. Keep subscribing to this channel, set up your notifications so that whenever we go live, and then share these videos with your friends. Let as many people know about what the heck is possible. So thank you again that we were able to put together a great call on Teams. So thanks to Teams, and we will see you all in the upcoming weeks.